How do you know when the attraction is genuinely mutual and both of you feel it? Right now, somewhere close to you, two people are sitting across from each other. Maybe it's a first date. Maybe it's a colleague they've known for months. Maybe it's someone they've just met at a party. And one of those two people is completely convinced the other one feels the same way they do. They're reading every glance, every laugh, every small moment. They're replaying the conversation in the car on the way home. They're telling their friends about it, and they're wrong. The chemistry they felt was real, but it was one-sided, and the other person, the one being misread, has no idea any of it is happening. Now, put two different people in the same room, same dinner, same conversation, same low lighting, and this time something's different. Both of them are walking away, replaying the same moments. Both of them are noticing the same things. Both of them are already thinking about the next time they're going to see each other. That is mutual attraction, and it doesn't feel the same as one-sided attraction. It behaves differently. It shows up in the body differently. It moves through a conversation differently. And today, I'm going to tell you exactly what the science and psychology say about how to tell the difference. So you stop wasting energy on people who aren't there, and you stop missing the ones who are. Stay with me, because this one is going to clear up any confusion you've had in the past. Okay, first, let's get something straight, because most people, when they try and figure out if someone likes them, are doing it completely wrong. They're looking for one big signal, one big sign, a compliment, a long hug, a text that comes back quickly, and they're treating that one signal like it's proof. That's not how mutual attraction works. Here's the real picture. Attraction, real, mutual, bilateral attraction, is not one sign. It's a pattern, a cluster of behaviors that happen consistently across multiple contexts in both directions at the same time. Psychologist Arthur Aaron, who spent decades researching romantic connection and what he called the falling in love process, was really clear about this. The experience of feeling powerfully drawn to another person isn't random. It involves cognitive and physiological processes, and crucially, when it's mutual, those processes mirror each other. You're not just feeling something at them, you're both inside the same loop. And that loop, when you know what to look for, is actually pretty readable. Not perfectly, not with 100% certainty, but it's clear enough that you can stop second-guessing yourself every time someone's just being polite. So, here's what mutual attraction actually looks like in real life. And I want you to pay attention here because some of these are going to surprise you. The first one is synchrony, and this is the one that most people completely overlook. When two people are genuinely mutually attracted to each other, their bodies start to mirror each other unconsciously. The research on this is actually pretty remarkable. Studies on nonverbal communication and embodied cognition show that when two people feel a strong connection, they begin to physically synchronize. Their posture mirrors, their gestures echo each other. The rhythm of their speech slows or quickens to match the other person. They lean in at the same time. They laugh at the same moment. And it's not because one of them's following the other's lead, but because they're both responding to the same emotional frequency. This is called behavioral synchrony, and it happens below the level of conscious awareness. You can't fake this and you can't perform it. You can try and copy someone's movements deliberately and it might look awkward. When it's real, it's seamless. It's automatic. It's both people's nervous system saying, I want to be in the same physical space as this person. Once you know what you're looking for, you will see it. You're watching attraction happen in real time. The second signal is what psychologists call sustained mutual gaze. Now you overthink this. I'm not talking about staring. Prolonged staring is uncomfortable. It reads as aggression or too much intensity. What I'm talking about is different. When attraction is mutual, both people hold eye contact slightly longer than normal. And when they look away at the same time and then come back, it's a rhythm. It's almost like it's a conversation that's happening in parallel with the actual conversation. The neuroscience here is clear. Eye contact triggers the release of oxytocin. Sometimes that's called the bonding hormone in both people simultaneously. When two people are mutually attracted, they're both unconsciously seeking out more of that contact because their brains are rewarding them for it. And here's what makes this distinct from one-sided attraction. In a one-sided dynamic, the person who's attracted holds the gaze. The other person breaks it and doesn't come back. The rhythm isn't there because only one person's brain is seeking it. Mutual attraction has a rhythm. One-sided attraction has a gap. You'll feel the difference even if you can't articulate it. The third one is genuine responsiveness. And this is the one that people in psychology of relationships talk about as one of the most reliable indicators of connection. The researcher, Harry Ree, who spent years studying intimacy and what actually makes people feel close to each other, identified responsiveness, the feeling that someone genuinely sees you, hears you, and cares about what you're saying as the cornerstone of real attraction. Here's the important thing. Responsiveness is easy to perform for one exchange. People are polite and socially skilled, but genuine, sustained responsiveness, the kind where someone remembers what you said 10 minutes ago and brings it back, that is hard to fake across a whole conversation. And when it's mutual, you'll notice something specific. Neither of you wants to leave a conversational thread unfinished. You're both staying in it. You're both keeping it alive. This isn't just good manners. This is two people's brains in a state of genuine engagement. The fourth signal, and this one matters, is nervous calm. Stay with me on this because it sounds like a contradiction. I know. But when attraction is mutual and real, both people are slightly nervous and noticeably calm at the same time. The nerves are there because something that matters is happening. The calm is there because the other person's presence is genuinely regulating to your nervous system. There's real neuroscience behind this. A researcher at Berkeley, who spent decades studying the biology of human connection, has written about how genuine emotional resonance between two people actually creates a physiological settling effect. The body feels safer in the presence of someone it's drawn to. The breath slows slightly, the voice drops a little in register. The shoulders drop. This is different from the activated, somewhat frenetic energy of attraction that isn't matched. When it isn't matched, you feel the nerves, but not because the other person's presence isn't giving your nervous system anything to anchor to. Mutual attraction doesn't just feel exciting, it feels like something in your body saying, this is safe, this matters, pay attention. Now, here's the piece I really want you to sit with, because this is where most people get it wrong. Not reading attraction, but reading the absence of it. You see, one-sided attraction has a specific signature, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. In a one-sided dynamic, the signals only go one way. One person is initiating, whether it's the conversation, the eye contact, the leaning in, the follow-up question, the reason to keep talking. The other person is responding, but not initiating. And this distinction, initiation versus response, is everything. Because here's the thing about social creatures. We respond to people. We're conditioned to be polite, to be warm, to be kind. A warm response is not the same as initiation. If someone's only ever responding to you, only laughing when you joke, only asking questions when you've asked them first, only staying in the conversation because you're carrying it, that's a response. That's not mutual attraction. Mutual attraction creates a self-sustaining energy. It doesn't need one person to keep it alive. It feeds itself, and both people are throwing wood on the fire. If you're the only one throwing wood, you're keeping yourself warm. You're not making a fire together. Here's what to do with all of this. Stop reading isolated signals and start reading patterns. One long look doesn't mean anything. One laugh doesn't mean anything. One text back doesn't mean anything. What you're actually looking for is consistency across time and context. Does the synchrony happen every time you're together, not just once? Is the eye contact rhythmic, or is it one person seeking and the other not coming back? Is the responsiveness mutual, or are you carrying the conversation? Is the energy self-sustaining, or are you the one keeping it alive? And then, and I know this is the harder thing, trust what you feel in your body more than what you want to believe in your head, because your nervous system already knows. The nervous calm that I described, that feeling of something real, something settled underneath the excitement, your body registers that before your brain catches up. And the opposite is also true. That slightly hollow, slightly effortful feeling that you get when you're working too hard to sustain something that isn't quite being matched, your body registers that too. You just have to stop talking yourself out of it. Here's where I want to land with this. Attraction is not a mystery. It's a biological process, a neurological one, and it runs on real signals. And those signals, the synchrony, the mutual gaze, the genuine responsiveness, the nervous calm, they're not hidden. They're happening in plain sight. But you've been trained by every rom-com ever made to look for the grand gesture, the big moment, the declaration. And while all those things are lovely, they're not the data. The data is in the small, consistent, repeated, unconscious things that both of you are doing without meaning to. That's where real attraction lives. In the automatic, in the involuntary, and in the pattern that neither person decided to create. It just happens. If you're reading someone right now, here's the question to ask yourself. Not, do I feel this? But is it going both ways? Is it feeding itself? Is it mutual, magnetic, and moving forward on its own momentum? If it is, you'll know. Mutual attraction is a mirror, a magnet, and it's a message. And once you know what you're looking for, you'll never misread it again.